What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie. This is part one of a quick little deep dive into Michael Jackson's studio catalog. The Frank Zappa connection is Frank Zappa wrote a song about Michael Jackson. Why Don't You Like Me, which was the Tell Me You Love Me. And then in 84, it became Don't Be a Lawyer, Don't Be a Lawyer. And then in 88, it became Why Don't You Like Me, with a whole bunch of Michael Jackson references and all that jazz. So yeah, there's a Zappa connection. Plus, Eddie Van Halen played on a Zappa song. Played on a Michael Jackson song, has connections to Zappa. But yeah, we're going to do the 70s albums in this video, and then there's 5, and then I'll do the other 5, which was the 80s and beyond in the next video. This video, I'll just rank the first 5, and then the next video, all 10 will be ranked. But yeah, all right, let's get on with it. My number 5 in Michael Jackson's career is Got to Be There. His first one came out in 1972. This is a very, very young Michael Jackson. You can tell that he can sing. You can tell he has chops. But who exactly he is, other than this kid who can sing, a lot of production going on. He's very much part of a music production machine. So it's fun, it's light, it's well produced, but is there anything too meaty or hefty or too anything other than just really well produced pop music? Nah, that's about all it is. Opens up with a cover of Bill Withers' Ain't No Sunshine, and he's showing off his chops, but you're really going for kind of aiming for the fence when you should be trying to bunt on base at this point, buddy. We got some 70s, a lot of strings in this, that kind of laden produced pop. What is on here? Rockin' Robin is on here, which is kind of fun. There is a song called Maria, You Were the Only One, which is actually pretty good. It's got a really nice vibe to it. Kind of a sparser sound, a little more of a soulful, slow burning thing, a little bit of, maybe a little psych seeping in there, interestingly enough. But it shows that he can sing, and musically it's probably the most adventurous thing on here, and it's probably the highlight. Also, he does sing, there's a cover of You've Got a Friend, but the melody's a little bit diluted and the production's kind of busy, so it just kind of detracts from the whole thing. It's fun, the debut, but I can't see you're like, man, this kid's going to be huge someday. I don't hear it. But yeah, that's my number 5, which means my number 4, it's the one about the rat. It's Ben, his second, also in 72. It's pretty much the same template as the first album. It's just everything is maybe just slightly a little bit better, a little bit stronger, maybe a little more mature. There's a lot of the instrumentation is very Christmassy, has that sort of that glossy shine about Christmas that this album has that isn't that good. Opens up with Ben, which is a great 70s ballad. It's a song about a rat. But yeah, that's pretty good. Song called People Make the World Go Round, which is a little bit low-key, funkier. Still a lot going on production-wise, but it's kind of a chiller vibe, showing off a different side of Michael other than just being able to sing this bright, upbeat pop music. Other than that, there's a cover of My Girl on here that is, the instrumentation's kind of interesting, but it's kind of just a cover. A fun early Michael Jackson, a young kid song called Shooba Dooby Dooby Day or something like that. That's kind of good. You Can Cry on My Shoulder as an upbeat R&B pop. It's just all around a slightly stronger album, but still we're in very generic, soulful R&B pop, overproduced type territory here. But the ballad to lead off shows a tender side to Michael, which I guess is always here. But that's my number 2. My number 3, that's my number 4. That's his number 2. My number 3 is his third, 1973's Music in Me. And I'm just going to say that he's is getting better as he makes more albums. We are going in reverse chronological order or in chronological order as we go through this list. This one is better. might be a little bit softer than the other two, but it's also less poppy, which I think works. It's also a little bit funkier at times, which is, nice. It does feel like there's maybe on this album and the next album particularly, just a lot of hands. Like, hey, I heard a little bit of funk. Can we put this in? Hey, I heard the Carpenters. Can we put a little this in? Hey, have you heard Diana Ross's? And like a lot of people trying to make him sound like a lot of different things. And the funky stuff, the harder edge stuff is really working. With the Child's Heart opens up, which is just a soft ballad that I don't need any album to open up with a song called With the Child's Heart. Up Again is a really cool sort of, I think it's a synth bass on there. And George Duke is on one of these albums, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, George Duke. Oh, yeah, he plays on the one that's at number one. Probably why it's at number one. But there's this really cool synth bass sound in the song Up Again that's really cool. Some really good bass stuff in there. There's a song called All the Things You Are, which is a little bit funkier. Really nice groove to the verses that just kind of like, finally Michael's really starting to feel it. A cover of Happy from When Lady Sings the Blues. Just great, pure Michael melody there. Doggin' Around is a song that is like, just has got some swag in it. A little more Aretha, a less Carpenters vibe than what we're getting. Just fun and playful, showing that more like that harder edge side of him, Michael, without ever really being harder edge. There's a song called Euphoria that's meant to like instill euphoria. Super funky keys, slower groove, best song yet. The title matches the vibe. Then we close out with some feel-good pop, and the title track's just kind of a soft ballad. But there are definite elements of like harder edge Michael that are coming through here that are like good. Like that's what we need to lean into. Whoever's in charge of the softer stuff, roughen up the edges. But that's my number 3, his third. My number 2 is his fourth, Forever Michael. And the thing that really stands out for me on this one, we still have some of that lighter ballady stuff as we make our way through the album. But the first 2 songs, the production has more of that grander, Bee Gees, disco, drop the strings, just you have a lot going on, in the production wise, but it's all service to like there to like help dance and help move a groove and help just get that little bit of like 70s swag. This is the kind of production that bands like Foxygen, that album Hang, when they're emulating these sort of 70s sort of ideas, this is the kind of stuff they're looking to. And it doesn't go through the entire album, but it's on the first 2 songs. And it just feels like, okay, we finally figured out how to produce Michael. We're almost there. Just this over-the-top disco pop production that just absolutely work. We even get these spacey synth sounds. Take Me Back, which has this really nice bounce, this really nice groove, a little more mature in its indulgences, but we still got a lot going on. And then the last third of the song just gets super groovy. So the first 2 songs really set the bar higher. Unfortunately, we then kind of bring it down. One Day in Your Life has a very Debbie Boone Carpenters vibe. Cinderella Stay a While is pure Disney. Cinderella, I know that's not Disney property, but it feels like this is the Disney version of Cinderella he's singing to. We've got Forever, a little more airy, innocent pop. This is the old Michael that we don't need. Just a little bit of you, little funk, little 70s swag, very dance floor, awesome disco strings. Yeah, Michael, let loose. You Are There, another airy ballad, kind of has Carpenters vibes, little sort of maybe Eastern motif to some of the music. Then we got Dapper Dan, super funky. We got the guitar, we got the harmonica, we got the groove, we got some country funk rock vibes going on. It's almost at some point goes into this Ico, Not Fade Away type beat, little Cajun Dr. John action. There's a harmonica solo. The bass is killing it. Dapper Dan, baby. Horrible name. Did not think this was going to turn out well. This song was killing it. Then we get a ballad for something called Dear Michael, but it's got a little bit of a funky groove in there. That funk is seeping through to the ballads. And then we close with I'll Come Home to You, which has this cheesy spoken intro. Really good things on here. Not a consistent album. There's still moments where it's like, sounds like the first 2 albums, just kind of like, okay, he can sing, but what else? But there are some really good steps in the right direction. But none of this prepares you for what the number one is, which would drop 4 years later, which is Off the Wall. Of course it is. 1979, a darn near perfect album. It's dance, it's pop, it's Michael Jackson, it's R&B, it's soul, it's perfection. Opening track, it's like 6 minutes long. Don't stop till you get enough. Yeah, don't stop. 6 minutes was not enough. Everything about this is perfect. He even mentions the Force over and over again. Like the Force was big in the late 70s because of Star Wars. Put that in a song. That subconsciously had to affect the way people reacted to this album because this album was huge. Don't stop till you get enough. What an absolute banger of an opening track. Who would have expected this after listening to those first 4 albums? Nobody. What comes next? A maybe even more perfect song with Rock With You, only it's poppier, it's smoother, it's more of a love vibe. The disco pre-chorus in this thing is just absolutely like harkening back to that just dance floor beat of Don't Stop. An amazing 1-2 combo. What comes next after that? Working Day and Night. You got the horns coming in. You got this sick groove or a little bit funkier and less just straight dance floor. This is one of those where MJ's like working the stage James Brown style, if that was his vibe. But as this going on, it just feels like the song's getting wilder, the album's getting wilder, the funk's getting deeper. Amazing third song. And then we get on the floor. And there's really only one reason you should get on the floor. You're standing, you're dancing, you're moving. Super funky bass. This entire thing reminds me of like a Chick Chick Chick, triple clicks, the 3 exclamation points. Their sort of New York dance punk movement that they did from like 2010 on, where it's just like this relentless beat for like 6 or 7 minutes and they're just laying things over it and vocals and different like, sort of melodic ideas. That's what Get on the Floor is. It's just like, let's just keep going. Let's just like, we'll bring it down at one point, rebuild it. It's just like, let's close out this side of the album, this side A, with just a party. The first half of this album is just pure, exhilarating, perfect dance music. Side 2, we get Off the Wall. Another pop, perfect, just perfection. The synth, George Duke is on this. There's this like background riff that I think is synth, that I think might be Duke, that's absolutely amazing. The horns. This might be the best song on the album, and the entire first 4 songs are absolute complete bangers. Then Paul McCartney shows up. Song that he wrote called Girlfriend. And this is the lightest, poppiest thing on here. There's a saxophone that we don't need. When this starts off, I'm always like, man, Paul McCartney had to ruin the party. Because this is a different party right now. We're now more Michael Thriller, where we got these ballads. Problem is, I get like a minute into this and we get to like all the melodic hooks and the Paul McCartney sweetness starts to seep in. I'm like, this is pretty good. It's a pretty nice diversion. Maybe say no to the saxophone, but you win me over. She's Out of My Life. A nice, tender string ballad performance. Very just iconic Michael emotional ballad. I Can't Help It, a little bit jazzy, a little bit bounce. MJ just effortless in the vocal performance here. A little bit smoother jazz kind of dance bounce. It's the Falling in Love, which might be the weakest song on here. It's got a nice, funky, catchy chorus, but after everything else, it's maybe the one song that's like Girlfriend and She's Out of My Life are definitely not these dance monsters that everything else is, but they have Girlfriend highlights pop strengths. She's Out of My Life highlights the balladry strength. It's the Falling in Love, has a little bit of everything that works, but I think overall it's maybe the least memorable song on here. And then Burn This Disco Out, just big funky bounce. You got horns, you got some swag to this. This is the dance party to end the dance party. Like, get off the wall, get on the dance floor one last time, people, and let's do this. This is like a perfect album. Just absolutely perfect. Easily his number one in the 70s, and sets him up for the chaos that would follow. That's what they look like in typewritten form right there. Yeah, We'll see if Off the Wall can hold on to that number one position. We'll see if Forever Michael can hold on to that number two position. Who knows? Maybe it's better than Thriller. We'll find out in the next video. Let me know your thoughts on this, things I missed, things I messed up on, all that kind of stuff. Your thoughts on Michael, thoughts on Off the Wall. And yeah, go listen to Off the Wall if you haven't. It's a perfect album, people. All right, peace. Talk to you later.